always willing to walk away though.
Listen. I know you're willing to walk away, which is another part we're gonna get to. But before that, when you're negotiating with somebody, never reach a point of a yes no. Even though I said we're going for the cutthroat, we never want to reach the point where the person you're negotiating with feels like they're being taken advantage of. Because the second the person reach that point, the likelihood of them negotiating with you again drastically reach zero.
Check the mic and make sure it sound right, boys.
Welcome to the Morning Session Studio. But right now we're not in the studio, so just welcome to the Morning Session Podcast. That is still brought to you by the only and wonderful Morning Session Studio. I'm not doing that today. Orion underscore New Star, and next to me we have
NetflixDon. Don't worry. And today we have something kind of like a continuation of our last podcast.
Not the last podcast, but we don't know if the last one was posted, but we're gonna go in depth into this one. And what are we talking about right now?
The art of negotiating.
The art of negotiating.
How to get the best offer on the table.
How do you get okay, first of all, to get the offer on the table,
you gotta put the work in.
No. Before you can even get the best offer on the table, you need to have an offer on the table, right?
Yeah, so you gotta build your skills to actually have something worth negotiating for.
Exactly, which means whoever you're negotiating with, you need to have something they want.
Yep.
And obviously, if you're negotiating with them, they have something you want. So that's the baseline for any negotiating. And if you are the one initiating the negotiation, that means you are already at a position of lesser power. So, Mark, how do you go from that bargaining stage to being the one leading and dominating the conversation?
So one of the reasons I chose this topic for today is I remember in the last supposedly podcast we were talking about negotiation and all that, and in one of the classes we were taking, and they were talking about negotiating, and I was like, oh. And, as graduates and whatnot, jobs coming up, so we gotta learn how to negotiate. We gotta know, what to do when we have an offer on the table. Mm-hmm. So we don't just take any job.
Or any offer on the table.
For any price, Gotta make sure the price is for your skills. Anyway.
So let me just say this. Hey, we don't like to rag on anybody. We don't like to rag on and give names. But if you go out there and try to learn negotiating from just any website, from any YouTuber, they're probably going to give you some basic shit, right? They'll be like, oh, you got to be attentive. You got to be listening. You got to be going for a win-win situation. You have to take the person's best account in mind. Are we going to tell them that, Mark?
Nope.
No, we're not going to tell you any of that shit. We're telling you to go for the throat. Okay? It's that simple. If you have something they want, that means even if you are the one negotiating with them, you can flip the script, flip the switch, and be on top. All you got to do is get them chasing. And the first part of getting them chasing is you got to make them understand, or at least have them have their belief. Because here we're both about the perception of things and how things actually are. Mm-hmm. So you got to get them to understand or believe, which is the perception, that you understand them. And the book I was reading, which is called, I forgot the name of the book, but it basically said that...
Something dealing. Something dealing.
No. Let me give them the name of the book. Never split the difference. It says that the first step to any negotiation is having the person says or agrees to the fact that they understand that you understand them. So you and the person have to reach a level of understanding, whether you're faking it or you actually understand them. You have to reach that level. Mm-hmm. So how would you go about making somebody understand or believe that you believe them? Because you believe in selling people dream. Well, I'm not a dreamer or anything like that, and I don't buy dreams. I'm a firm believer of getting your money's worth. How do you make sure they think they're getting their money's worth and get to buy into that mark? How do you do it?
Representation.
Representation. What do you mean by representation?
Representation, how you represent yourself, the
Mhm.
confidence that you have in yourself, like the skills that, let's say you're going for a job, the skill that you put on the resume when you represent, when that resume is like a clear representation of you, but it doesn't really speak for you. So when you open your mouth, you have to be confident in yourself. You need the confidence. Like people can sense like weakness. If you don't have the confidence, they will be like, okay, sure, this guy probably have the skills, but like the confidence. So I guess I can just do whatever I want. No, you need everything. Like if you're negotiating, you need everything. Can't be lacking nothing.
I want to say you can't be lacking nothing when you're negotiating. I feel like when you're
I mean, not like can't be lacking nothing. It's just if you lack nothing, it just give you an upper hand to your objective or your goal or whatever.
I would agree with that. But at the same time, I believe that you need to hit that sweet middle ground between not being the perfect person or not being the worst person for the job. Because here's the thing though, like people have the adverse effects of like when something is too good, they think it's too good to be true.
Mm-hmm.
And when something is really bad, they don't want it. So you have to hit that perfect sweet spot of where they want you bad enough that they'll chase it. When I think you're too good that they
Yeah,
won't get you.
like just get it right. You know, don't nothing above and nothing below. Just like
Well, technically it's a boundary, but like right in there. But like something you said I like before. You said something about like your resume is like the first view of you. And as I said, your resume is and will forever be, if that's the first thing you're putting out there, like your foot in the door. If your foot isn't clean enough, beautiful enough, and appealing enough,
mm-hmm.
nobody's gonna want to see the rest of the body. So you have to get over that hump. So you need to tailor made your resume or whatever the first thing people are seeing
Yep.
to match you properly. And this goes back to what we were saying before. Remember when I asked you something about which you think is better, look, game, and confidence, and a bunch of other things,
Mm-hmm.
and you didn't give me a proper answer. I decided to let you, whichever one you think it is. Back then, the only two right answers was look and game, because resume is basically those two and the same thing. The resume has to be clean, clear, so the paper it's printed on has to be well kept when you print it. And also the format has to be appeasing to the eye, which is the look. And the word, which is the game part of the resume, needs to be immaculate. Okay? It needs to be to the level of understanding, precision, and tailor made to everybody that you're sending it to. Because you wouldn't walk like let me speak on term most people understand. You wouldn't walk to a butcher and ask him for vegetables, and you wouldn't walk up to a farmer and ask him for meat.
I mean, you can.
So you have to tailor made yourself to whoever you're sending out the resume to. We're not saying lie,
Yeah.
but you can always stretch the
Yeah,
truth.
don't. I wouldn't say lie on your resume.
Never lie on your resume because you will get found out, which is one of the things with negotiating. The second you'll find out to be a liar, you
Yeah.
automatically might never get into the upper hand in that negotiation at all. But you can always stretch the truth because the truth will always be the truth no matter how much you stretch it. You understand me? I don't think you like the idea or you get it.
I mean, I would say the truth will always be the truth, no matter how you stretch it. I mean, like if it's the truth, why do you have to stretch it?
To make it more palatable, to make it more digestible.
If it's the truth, get to it.
The
Straight
thing
to the point.
is, I think you have a very big problem with that. Just because it's the truth doesn't mean it's easily digestible by anyone. You're not just gonna walk up to a person and be like, "Yo, nigga, your dad got shot today, so yeah, he's dead." That's the truth, right?
I mean,
Are you gonna say it like that?
it is the truth, though.
Are you gonna say it like that?
Yeah, maybe.
You see, that's the problem. You can't say shit like that.
I can. Like,
Well,
your dad got shot, nigga dead.
we've already established, Mark, you're not socially calibrated.
Wow.
We've established that already.
Okay.
Also, something about negotiating, you have to be calibrated. Okay, like when you're making a negotiation, like by calibration, I mean like you have to be composed, and as I said before, confident. When you're negotiating with somebody, the second you start losing your composure, that's the second you start losing. So you must always stay logical and firm on your standings.
Yep, that's true. But the main point I want to reach to is like in the class discussion we had, right? And they were like, the person that put money first lose.
Well, that is very specific, and
I was like, whoa.
that is true. The first person to set like a set up a like physical milestone is the person to lose. Because think of it like this: if they put the milestone, you have the chance of always going higher. Because like, why would you go lower than the milestone they're giving you? It's already great for you. The only upper hand you have is going higher. If you give the milestone, well, why would they want to give you higher? They will always go lower. So whoever goes first loses. So the question now becomes, how do you get them to put their neck out there?
Mm-hmm.
How do you go about that, Mike? At least your opinion.
Like I don't really know like the specific, but like if you're negotiating, it's like they set the milestone, like you said, then your objective is to go higher. Because if you set it, their objective is to go lower. Because they
But how do you
obviously
get them to stick out their neck and give you the milestone they're trying to give you?
that come to your skills, like how much you can offer, what you have to offer, because everyone is unique, and every company is looking for that uniqueness.
Okay, since you're not giving me a specific answer,
There
let me give it.
is a specific answer.
You're not. Yes, there's a specific answer. Let me give you. There's not.
If you ask me, so
there's not a specific answer. There's a set of specific answers. Here's one of the specific answers of how
but you ask me though.
And if I ask you what color the sky and you're rambling about how the color of the water is, makes no difference to me. So
How does it make no difference to you?
So let me say this: when you're negotiating and and you're getting tired, or you want to get to the milestone of them putting their neck out there, you can either go straight forward and ask them, like straightforward, be like, so what is the range of offer you got? What is the range of, whether it's money, whatever they're offering you, whatever you're dealing with, they're offering you, and never ask for a specific amount, ask for a range, because like everybody has a range and that range is negotiable. So asking for that range, that leeway to see how far you are off the mark of what you want, first of all. So you can straightforward ask them, or you can go round about it and ask people around them before even the interview to see how much they're paying at the beginning and how much they're paying at the end, the salary cap for whatever position you're looking for. Or you could go a third way about it, which is not so indirect, which is try to get them to put an offer on the table. So basically, word them out, word out every point to the point where the only thing that is left out to hash out is how much. So that's the only three ways that I think of. As you either go direct, highly indirect, or you stall and have them go first. I recommend the first two, because the first two give you more power instead of hashing it out till the very end, because the longer you're in a battle, the more tired you are, because nobody wants to fight a war of attrition, because that will always go toward the person with more time, money, and power. And usually in negotiation, when you're the one coming into it, they will always have more power, so you don't want to do a war of attrition with them.
I mean, like, like in my case, like when I'm negotiating, it's like before I even step out, I already have like an idea of what I want. And like when we're discussing it, if you don't give me what I want, if it's like close enough, like I will not take it, because
You mean if it's not close enough?
Huh?
You mean if it's not close enough?
Not like can be close, but don't quite meet my criteria. So I gotta force it out of you to meet me at the end, you know. But like
Something you should know about negotiation: you should never force You should never force the person to reach a point where they don't want to reach, because the second you get somebody to accept an unfavorable deal,
I mean, like I'm always willing to walk away though.
Listen. I know you're willing to walk away, which is another part we're gonna get to. But before that, when you're negotiating with somebody, never reach a point of a yes no. Even though I said we're going for the cutthroat, we never want to reach the point where the person you're negotiating with feels like they're being taken advantage of. Because the second the person reach that point, the likelihood of them negotiating with you again drastically reach zero. It doesn't reach zero entirely because there is always chances, and people will always want things, and you might always have things to give. But the second they feel like they've been taken advantage of, that goes straight towards zero. I don't know where it stops. Some people will reach zero or close enough to it that they never negotiate with you again.
I mean,
Some
that
people it's
depends
only
on
halfway.
that depends on what you have to offer.
I'm just saying, like, the second you do that, your likelihood of negotiating with them again decreases. And I don't think that's something you want in the case of when you're continuously going to be dealing with somebody. Because, like, we're not just telling them about negotiating for on their job, we're telling them about how to negotiate in life in general. If you have a girlfriend and, like, every negotiation you're having with her, you're on the losing end, you're going to build up resentment. If you're in a company and every time you're negotiating with them, they're giving you the short end of the salary, you're going to resent them. So why would you think you're doing the same thing to somebody else and always getting your way, not in the same way when they're resenting you? So that's
I
what I'm saying.
mean, like, the thing is, like, I know what I want. They know what they want. If we cannot meet in the middle ground or whatever, or if I see the wish, like, I can get it out of you. Like, you want me, you know, and I know I can get it out of you. So it's like, why would I settle for like a middle ground?
You don't really know if you can get it out of them until you get it out
I
of them.
always know, like, you always know you can get it because, like, you, at the end of the day, if you don't like it, you're willing to walk away from it.
That
So
means
it's like,
that means you didn't get it from them.
okay, they'd get nothing in return. So it's like a lose-lose situation.
I don't think you understand what I'm saying.
What they're saying.
You said you know you can always get it out of them or you walk away. I'm saying walking
Like-
away means you don't get it out of them. So you can never go.
Sometimes walking away doesn't mean you don't get it out of them. Sometimes you simply walk away and they realize, hey, we actually need this.
Or sometimes you walk away and they let you go.
Okay, on to the next one.
That's why I agree. And like you said, on to the next one, which is why when you're negotiating, you need to always have multiple set of offers on the table. If you're looking for jobs, always be applying to multiple jobs. If you're looking for a girlfriend, always be on the market. If you're looking for a camera, don't just buy the first one you see on Amazon. If you're looking for whatever you're looking, never like settle for the first offer you have, because there might always be better. Think of it like there might always be better out there, and people are always willing to give you time if they think you're worth it. So if somebody gives you an offer and you think you can get one better out of somebody else, always be like, would you give me some time to think about it? Or how long do you think you'd give me to think about it? Usually, of course, it's easier to tell permission than to ask for permission. You see what I mean?
Yeah,
So like,
sometimes we
it's
like,
better to always keep the power in your hands. So
Yeah.
asking them when, be like,
give me
I
48
would
hours, I'll think about it, you know.
and
Give me
some offers
24
come with,
hours, I'll think about it.
and some offers come with a time limited deals, which means they can give you 30 days to accept the offer, in which case you have 30 days to negotiate with other parties and use that offer as leverage. Another part of negotiating is also leverage. Like we've said, like you need to leverage your skills, but there are other things you can offer also. You can also leverage all the deals you've gotten. So if you're applying to college, and you're looking for financial aid,
Scholarship.
in scholarship, you can always be like, hey, I got into this college also, guys. I really like you guys because you guys offer me something I want. However, I'm leaning toward this college because they offer me more money.
Yeah, like,
Do you guys want to match their offer of money? You know what I mean? And like, it doesn't really matter if you mean it that you like them more. It's just that
Yeah.
the perception of you wanting to go to them, but there's that little thing they could do extra to get you there.
yeah.
They'll dig in the pockets.
Another
if they can.
another thing about negotiating is that if you don't ask, you don't get.
True.
So it's like, always ask for the things that you want. Ask for something. Always ask for something. If
I
you
want to
go,
say always ask for something.
if you go to the store,
ask for what you need and what you
if
want.
you go to the store, you want to buy something. Once you reach the cashier, ask like, is there a coupon for this? Can I get a discount for this? More often than not, there is a coupon for this.
Please understand that there's a difference between somebody who's a haggler and somebody who is negotiating.
What?
I just want to make that difference out there.
How is that?
Because I'm just saying, like, if you go to a car salesman and they tell you, "Yo, this is us," and they give you a rent, and they be like, "This is I want to give you. This is how much the car is worth." You be like, "Hey, can you give it for me for this amount?" They're like, "How about I give it to you for this? Because if I do it for this, I'll lose money." And then you continuously like, just so you know, they might be lying to you. But if you're going so far to lower the offer to a point where you know the car is worth more, that's haggling. You just like don't like when you're negotiating, you don't want to disrespect the person because depending on how well
Use whatever to your advantage.
I guess that's where we
If
differ.
it benefit you, then go for it.
I
Because at
wouldn't-
the end of the day, that car salesman is also trying to benefit himself.
I'm
or
not talking
herself.
about just this car salesman. I'm talking about in
No, I'm
general.
talking about the person
You
selling
don't-
it. It's
No,
like
I'm just saying whoever. So
some people, right, trying to make a profit. Maybe it's 10%, maybe it's tenfold. You
Mhm.
never know. So what do? Do your research, your due diligence, and like when you negotiate it, make sure it's in your favor. You don't have to care about that person thinking like, oh, I probably went through all the trouble, do the marketing, do the ads and all that. That's not your business. Your business is to spend as little as possible on the things that you need. Okay? Like, at the end of the day, you always want more in your pocket.
I can co-sign the last part of what he said, which is you want more in your pocket. However, anything before that, I cannot co-sign at all. On a good conscience.
You have good conscience.
I said on my good conscience. I never said I have a good conscience.
Yeah,
it exists. I don't mean I use it.
You don't.
Don't mean I use it.
You do not.
Doesn't mean I use it.
You use zero.
I have it. Doesn't mean I
Never.
use it.
You never put it in the table. Anyway, yeah, it's like when you're dealing with someone, it's like
And also something.
Go for what benefit you.
Also, we touched on it, but like, I'm just gonna reiterate it again because I don't know if it like was well to into your brain. Remember, always be willing to walk away, and only walk away when what you came wanting is not what you're getting. Which means at the very beginning, something he touched on slightly. You need to know what you want, and you also need to know what you're worth.
Yeah.
Because like, here's the thing: they're like, if there's a disconnect between those two things, before you even start negotiating, you need to fix that because they're not gonna fix that for you. They're probably gonna take advantage of that. So you need to fix that shit yourself. Because some people think they're worth this, in actuality, they're worth this. They ain't worth shit. They think they're worth shit. And then some people have no confidence in themselves. They think they're worth this and they think they're worth shit. But they have some good skills in their pockets and they're not utilizing that. And people are gonna take advantage of one, and then one might end up in a position of power and be inadequate. So remember, know your worth and know how much people also see that worth to be valuable.
Yeah.
And as I said, always be willing to walk away, even if you only have one deal. However, it will always be beneficial when you have different deals because you can leverage those deals. If we're going back to the thing the professor said in the class is he already had a job. The way he got a raise was he went to another company and got an offer, and then his company matched that offer, which means he didn't have to switch jobs, relocate, or get to know new people, and he still got the money he wanted.
Yeah, another example, it was like he wanted this amount and they were not willing to give him this amount. So he walked away. Although he didn't have anything else, like he still walked away because
his
he
belief was more than money. He believed in his worth. That his worth was more than his belief in the money that they were giving.
Yeah.
So when those two didn't match and his was higher, he chose his belief in himself more.
Yeah.
Hence, when he left, they were willing to give him the amount because they wanted him more because he had resolution and he had something he believed in. Which is why I believe like the walkaway method, while is a sustainable method, it's not something you should always fall back on because sometimes you will leave. And guess what? The same thing I'm telling you, they also know they have multiple candidates. Are you the best one? Maybe not. Are you the cheapest one? Maybe not. You don't really know about all those things. So take those into account when you're choosing to walk away in any negotiation or trying to raise your value.
Yes.
Take this into account.
Yes. While you're taking this into account, do what's best for you, what's beneficial to you. Because if you realize, like it's just said, there's multiple candidates, there's multiple ways they can go about this. Like, okay, um, like if they cannot find a candidate that's to the position, they can shift the position to something else. You never know. Another saying is that your job can replace you at any moment. So do what's best for you, okay? What's beneficial to you. Because the day you slipped up, they let you go. The day you die, you get replaced. So do what's best for you. Anyway,
And
this
before
is
we head out, if you really, there's one more thing I gotta say on this one. If you really believe that your job is worth it and you don't want to be replaced, make it so that you're irreplaceable. But that is a topic for another day.
yes.
Thank you for watching the morning session. As always, comment, like, and subscribe. And the question of the day is actually, it's not a question of the day. Just tell us one time that you actually walked out on a negotiation. What happened?
Mhm.
Did you get what you want? Did it was like, oh, he's full of himself, let him go? What happened? We want to know. Drop it down in the comment section. I've been your host. I'm not doing it. Orion underscore new style.
And I'm NetflixDon. This is the art of negotiation. You might not hear me today, but you're gonna hear me tomorrow when you miss on that offer. Peace.